These are basically the components that you need to build your own computer. And as you can see over here, you need to have a motherboard. Make sure when you choose the motherboard that the motherboard is compatible with the RAM. This is another component that you're going to need, is your RAM. In this case we got 4 gigabytes of RAM. RAM is not compatible with the motherboard. The computer doesn't turn on, it does freaky things. And your hard disks, in this case we have 3. We're going to build this computer with 3 hard disks, and later on I will explain why. CPU, which is your main processor, which is going to be mounted on the motherboard. You're going to need a couple of extra little cables. In this case it's going to be a serial ATA computer, so the main interface between the hard drive and the motherboard is going to be through the serial ATA, not the fat ribbon cable that you're used to seeing. That's an older system. Nowadays most computers come out with the serial ATA cable. So we're going to have 2 or 3 of those, or 4, depending upon how many devices. In our case we're going to need 4 of them, because we have 3 hard drives and our DVD recorder, which is also going to be a SATA DVD recorder. So besides that, we have a video card, and we have over here keyboard and mouse. We also have a power supply, very important. Don't buy cheap power supplies, because power supplies are very, very likely to go bad in time. So buy a good power supply. A good power supply will cost you easily about $70, $80. Make sure you buy one that has enough power, meaning, for example, this power supply is 750 watts. That should accommodate the main the main components which draw most current is hard disks, your DVD drive, obviously the motherboard. But never buy for a computer that is like nowadays computer, never buy a power supply with less than 550 watts. Should be really the minimum. 800 watts, 1000 watts is perfect, but 750 watts will do. Important thing is that it's got to be a good brand, a known good brand of power supplies. Then we have the fans. They're identical fans. In this particular case, they are 120 millimeters fans, and you need to find out with your case the size that's a good size fan for your case, that fits your case. Nowadays most fans will be 120 millimeters, and they will fit the case that I'm about to show you. Have definitely plenty of ventilation inside the case, because poor ventilation means that the case and the motherboard and the processor is going to overheat, and heat means failure. So make sure that you have plenty of ventilation. You should have at least a front fan and a back fan, besides the fan that cools your processor. And sometimes you have fans also on the video card itself. The video card itself, nowadays the good video cards have processors, its own processor, and that processor is cooled by a little fan on the card. Now, talking about cooling, this is the cooling device for your processor, for your CPU. This is the part right here that's gonna go right on top of the processor, and this entire thing that you see right here is just for cooling purposes. It's this little pipes, the copper pipes, transfer the heat onto this aluminum little plate, and this is how the processor gets cooled right here. There is obviously a fan inside the structure that blows air, so the little aluminum plates cool off. This is a very good, something like this, you know, can cost even, you know, like $25, $30, but it's extremely important that your processor gets cooled very, very well. So do not be cheap on the device that's going to help your processor cool. Now, very important also, you need to buy is the thermal compound that goes between the head of the processor and this plate right here. When you couple them together, there is a little cream that's called thermal compound that will help the spread of the heat onto this plate. And so that's very important. In a lot of cases, neither the processor nor the cooling device come with that cream, and therefore you need to buy it separately. Okay, I don't have it right here, but I know I have it someplace. So I will show you later what that cream looks like. Forgetting over here a little detail. This is just an optional, okay? This is something I like to do, especially on servers. These are actually drawers that will allow you to remove the hard drives, and so you can change the hard drive in a matter of 5 seconds. You can change a hard drive. One of these, as you see, there's 3 of these drawers. One of the drawers is going to be for the hard drive that will contain the operating system. So one hard drive is going to be dedicated for the operating system only, and obviously the applications. The second hard drive will be dedicated for the data, you know, all the documents and all the things that you do, your Word documents, your Excel spreadsheets, or PowerPoint presentations, pictures, and all that will end up on another hard drive, which is the data hard drive, and that's your second hard drive. And the third hard drive will be only for backing up purposes. Meaning you're going to have a hard drive that's dedicated just for backups. It will contain the backup of the C drive, and it will contain the backup of the D drive, respectively the operating system drive and the data drive. So you're going to have 3 hard drives, the third one being just a backup drive. That backup drive, you can just pop it out and pull in another one, and you will see later on when everything is finished how convenient that is. Oh, I'm sorry, I have forgotten something. The case, very, very important. You know, you're going to need a case, something that looks like this.